questions either in the middle or at the end. So we're going to go through 6 quick sections: introduction to Sira Naturals, what we're calling the M3 facility. This will be our 3rd cultivation facility in Milford. As you know, we have one at 13 Commercial Way, one at 1 Industrial Road, and then this project is around 5 to 7 Industrial Road. Then talk a little bit about security, prevention of diversion to minors, positive community impact, and a little bit about nuisance, which is a statutory requirement that we talk about. So for this address, 5 to 7 Industrial Road, we will be applying for an adult use marijuana cultivator license, an adult use marijuana product manufacturer license as well, but no retail licenses and no, of course, no on sale premises. No sales on premises. Sira, we consider ourselves a biotech company. We manufacture these cannabinoid molecules to produce therapeutic results in the body. This is a cannabis flower, as I've shown in the past. If you look very closely, you see these organs, these little mushroom-like protrusions called trichomes. Essentially, this is what we are growing in our facilities. Inside the heads of these trichomes is where all of the cannabinoid compounds are formed. This is our current facility at 13 Commercial Way, and we're planning on building this additional facility, which will be very similar to this, although a little bit bigger. So this is the lay of the land here, and you can see, let's see if I can point. There we go. This one here is 13 Commercial Way, and then this is our M1 facility, we call it. Here we're currently under development of a 20,000 square foot facility we call M2, right at the corner of Birch Street and Industrial Road. And then this is the facility that we are proposing in this presentation. 5 to 7 Industrial Road, about 65,000 square feet of cannabis canopy. This is a very rough site plan. We still are in design development. We do not have a finished conceptual site plan yet, but it's going to be something like this. The building will be surrounded by a parking lot. It'll be a fully enclosed facility, high security facility, essentially exactly the same as our 13 Commercial Way facility, just bigger. This is a fast and dirty artist rendering of what the building might look like. Again, it's not a greenhouse, no glass roof, no visual access to the facility at all. And the only access there will be through secure doors. Inside that facility, we would do the same functions that we do at 13 Commercial Way, our current facility. So exactly the same, just on a larger scale. So we have commercial agriculture, we'll have a laboratory and chemistry application in terms of an extractions lab, we'll be a food manufacturer, as well as a packaging and logistics department. So the only thing that comes out of that facility are pre-packaged, bar-coded, secure packages of finished cannabis products. No loose product coming out of that facility ever. Some of the molecules that we do produce that we hope to use in therapeutic application. This is a quick snapshot of inside the 13 Commercial Way facility. And so we will be building the new facility to the same high standards that we built the initial facility. And again, this facility really mirrors all of the lessons that we learned in the first facility. So in terms of security, 24/7 camera surveillance as required by state rules, zone access control, everybody gets a badge. Your badge only allows you into areas of the building for which your job responsibilities authorize you. We'll have live boots on the ground security personnel 24/7 as well. We are required to have 2 alarm companies, so redundant monitoring companies. Each of these companies independently monitors the facility 24 hours a day, both cameras and perimeter alarm systems. If one goes down, obviously, the other is there as a backup. Seed to sale inventory tracking and control, just as robust as ever according to state regulations. So we monitor the plants and every product that we produce, all the way from seed to sale. And so we have full audit traceability of every product that we manufacture. In terms of preventing diversion to minors, we take a 4-prong approach: security, training, education, and prevention. We do this at all of our facilities, not just the cultivation facilities, at the dispensaries as well. A critical piece of our mission we see as keeping this a very controlled, what the state calls a regulated asset, controlled substance. So we keep tight control as always. In terms of positive community impact above and beyond the community host agreement, we try to be good neighbors. We have a Milford hiring preference, and we try to give back to the community wherever possible. So we've donated to a variety of different causes and organizations. We will continue to do that and hopefully expand that list as time goes on. Proud members of the Milford Area Chamber of Commerce. One of our representatives, Ashley Plum, who's actually here tonight, is on the board of the MAC, and a very active participant in the board. We just sponsored a big event around the emerging cannabis industry that was very well attended by members of the board. And then lastly, this is a piece that we talk about because it is required in the state regulations to be sure that we are not a nuisance to our neighbors, and a nuisance, of course, is a legal term. Typically, nuisance comes in the form of light or noise or obstruction or odor. In our case, really, there is no noise that comes out of the facility. There are no lights that come out of the facility other than the security lights around the perimeter, which are all aimed sort of down at the parking lot. There are no obstructions, and so the only possible nuisance would be odor. And as we've said before, and as you can see in all of our facilities, there is no odor. We employ sort of high-tech carbon filters that filter the air completely. And so, believe it or not, that's what I've got. So I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
I have one.
Yeah, please.
Mike, when do you expect to begin permitting the building through the Milford planning and building process?
That's a great question. I don't have a precise answer for you on that. It certainly is not going to be within the next month. I would expect probably within the next 60 to 90 days. You're going to start.
Quickly.
Yeah.
We're going to say this year, next year.
No, it'll certainly be in 2019. You'll start to hear the very first submissions for permitting. Right now, we're in the design development phase. We're trying to work as quickly as we can to design the facility. And the moment we have those designs done, we would anticipate we would begin site work, which would presumably require at least some type of permit.
Okay, and when do you expect it to be fully constructed?
Another great question. My guess is at this point, probably by the end of 2020.
Okay. And when is M2 going to be finished?
We're hoping that M2 will be done in the fourth quarter of this year. So we hope to actually turn M2 on and start the commissioning process, which generally takes a couple of months, and followed by the first growth cycle, which could take up to 4 months. But we hope to turn it on by December.
Okay.
So M2 and M3, are they both for cultivation of adult use only, or
No.
is it a combination?
No, it's a combination.
Okay.
They're both a combination. So there is no delineation in any of our facilities, except for not even in M1. There is no delineation of certain areas of the facilities for
Okay.
medical or for adult use. It's all fungible at the cultivation stage. So we anticipate that we'll probably be moving that production around as demand requires. But we do plan to continue to operate all 3 of our medical marijuana dispensaries indefinitely. We do not plan to close any of those.
Okay.
So you may recall we have 3 dispensaries, one in Cambridge, one in
Yeah.
Somerville, one in Needham. Needham has banned adult use, recreational, so the Needham dispensary will always be medical only, or at least for the foreseeable future. Cambridge and Somerville, we plan to do what's called convert to co-located facilities. So they will continue to serve medical patients, but they will also be serving adult use patients.
Okay, so dual use
Correct.
at those 2 locations.
That's right.
Okay. And so the third facility, you said it's 65,000 square feet?
65,000 square feet of canopy. And that's a technical term in the Cannabis Control Commission regulations. It's for the area that's devoted to growing cannabis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And based on the graphics on the slide, it seemed to be a lot bigger than the other 2 facilities. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's probably somewhere between 85 and 90,000 square feet
Okay.
total.
And the other 2 are?
The first one, M1, is about 30,000 feet, and
Okay.
M2 is about, I think it's 26.
Okay.
These are
so
rough numbers.
This is a substantial increase
It is.
in production. This
It
is
is.
huge.
Yes, it's a substantial
Okay.
increase.
Okay.
And you said this is 65 in canopy.
Correct.
Maybe 80 for the building.
85 to 90 for the building.
Yeah. I had a question about security.
Mhm.
So in the existing building that's on Commercial Way, have there been any incidents? Is anybody trying to break in, or
Knock on wood.
has there been incidents of graffiti, anything like that?
So far, I hesitate to say this out loud, but so far we've had no police service calls for any adverse incidents
Okay.
at our Milford facility.
Okay,
It's been all quiet.
okay. Okay, so you anticipate moving forward for M2 and M3 and with the security protocols that you have in place?
We do. I mean, we think that the security protocols are very robust. We're bringing on a head of security that's actually very experienced now as well to head an internal in-house security team. We've never done that before. We had just the outsourced electronic security. We hired some folks to be sort of patrol the area, but we never had a true in-house security team. We
Okay.
are developing an in-house security team as we expand the size to both M2 and M3.
Okay. Have there been any complaints from any of the neighboring businesses? Anyone in that area?
No, and I would ask that if you ever hear of anyone ever complaining, to certainly bring it to our attention, but we have not had, again, knock on wood, even a single complaint about the operation of that facility. And I mean, if you think about it, it really is a quiet facility, just sort of minding its own business. Nobody can sort of come in through the gate unless we allow them to come in, and we're not doing anything that would engender
When
any
you had
kind
this hearing for M2 though, the person who lives closest behind you was complaining about the odor, but
She said, yes, she said that she had smelled the odor sometimes on
that
certain
was
days.
before you put the
And then,
filters in.
that's correct. So we put the filters in and we haven't heard back from her. Now, we haven't reached out to her to proactively ask, hey, is this better? But I assume we would have heard from her if there was still an issue.
Okay. I have one other question.
Yeah.
How are you financing all of this with banks? From what I've read, there's an issue with federally insured banks
Mhm.
not wanting to do business with the marijuana industry.
Sure.
So obviously there's a lot of capital involved here. So
Mhm.
how does that all work?
So we are self-financed. The initial startup seed funding for the company came from private investors, not from a
Okay.
bank loan. And all of those private loans have been repaid, and we now self-fund.
Okay. So payroll, is that done through a bank or?
Yeah, so there's sort of, think of banking services in two buckets. One is business banking, like having
Yeah.
a bank account, doing payroll, paying checks, paying vendors, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The other is lending, borrowing money from
Okay.
a bank.
Yeah.
The borrowing piece is completely foreclosed at this point to us.
Okay.
The business services aspect, though, is available. So there are banks in Massachusetts that do provide business bank accounts. We've had a business banking account from the beginning of the establishment of the organization and continue
Okay.
to have. So we pay by direct deposit. For example, all of our employees are paid by direct deposit. We write checks to vendors. We do bank wire transfers. All of that stuff, it happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Oh, okay. All right, so one more then.
Sure.
Okay, so this is M3,
Correct.
and it's not been very long since you proposed M2.
That's right.
So, moving forward, are there more areas over in that side of Milford that you're looking to expand
No,
into?
that's a great question. Let me I can stop the question right dead in its
Okay.
tracks because
Okay.
the state has a canopy limit of 100,000 square feet.
Okay.
With the building of M3, we will reach our canopy limit and there will be no more building. That's the end.
Okay, okay. And so no other additional businesses for Sira in Milford once
That-
this is complete?
That is my inclination. There may be, now, you put the question that way, there may be an opportunity for us to lease some space for storage or office space or somehow
Okay.
ancillary type use for these three facilities.
Okay.
But we have no plans to do that yet. We couldn't put up another cultivation facility.
Right.